everyone, it's Jason. Today I'm gonna do more of a components video rather than just a straight unboxing for the Marvel Legendary deck building game. I've already unboxed. I've played the game numerous times. It's really awesome. I'm gonna do video for every expansion. Some of them will be broken into two videos, possibly based on length. I'm gonna kind of just do some quick explanations about some of the cards and how to play as I go through, but this isn't a how-to play tutorial. If you want to do that, I'm sure there's other videos, or maybe I'll make one later. This is just, as I go through explaining some of the things. If you see my other videos, you kind of know what some of the cards are. I'm going to start off. And I don't have the cards in any particular order, but like I said, rather than just a regular unboxing, I've already went through, so I've sorted out so I'm not sifting through the same duplicate cards over and over. The basic concept of any deck building game is you have cards that produce a cost. You buy new cards out of your deck, so you start with like 7 generic cards. You buy better cards as you go along, so as the game progresses, you get better and more powerful cards. You can tailor your deck to how you want. And then you have some sort of goal to get to. This particular one, you have villains to defeat. There are other games, like in the Legendary series, like Alien, Predator, where you actually have a mission rather than just a villain to defeat. The DC one, it's just a villain. You get like the typical one where like Dominion, or even like the Penny Arcade one, which is a little bit different, and it's about emptying piles while earning points. So that's the basic thing. This is one of your generic character cards. Each character in the Marvel in the game each has 4 different cards. They have rarities, even though they're all in the same set, and it's basically just the highest rarity. There's only one. The rare one, there's 2, and then the uncommon or common ones, there's usually 3 or 4. So they just made a rarity because it means just how often that card's going to ever appear. Basic things on each card is have a cost. So this black is a name, obviously. Silent Sniper. It's a Black Widow card. This is her card. This is the name. It's what the action is. It costs 7. It does 4, the slash marks are how much damage it does. So this one's more unique than some of the other deck building games, since you have a buy and an attack mechanic. Conversely, the DC deck building game just has characters listed as power. So it acts as both a buying mechanism and an attacking mechanism interchangeably. Marvel has 2 things, but it also has 2 different lanes. There's a lane of cards you can buy, and then a lane of characters you fight. Or again, I'll keep referring to the DC one because it's the opposite. It just has one lane of both, and that's why I can get away with one thing. Most characters will have a team name, and then they'll have a little symbol here, which is one of different colors, either red, yellow, green, or blue, or gray. Sorry, 5 colors. And it denotes a different style of attack. There's green is strength. Yellow is instinct, which is more like leadership or kind of thing like that. Blue is ranged. It's representative attacks that do like blastings or things like that. Red is covert. This is more like your stealthy spy stuff. And gray is tech, which is like Iron Man, guns, things like that. And then it's just a broad scheme, and they play in other parts later, so I'll show as we come up. I'm starting with Black Widow. This is kind of a unique thing. So in the original base set of Legendary, every character card has the same artwork. Every set after that, starting with the second expansion onwards, each different named card has different artwork. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one just because all the artwork looks the same. So you're going to look at 4 of the exact same looking cards. There is the exception here with Black Widow they released some promotional cards through the Marvel 3D trading card set. You get alternate artwork cards. So you have an alternate artwork of Black Widow here. So here you can see this one costs 3, does 2 damage. It's a dangerous rescue. She's hopping out of a window for a puppy. It has a little symbol here, so this is the covert symbol. Basically what these do is you have to play a card of that color before this one to activate. So when you're building your deck, you might want to get, earn more red cards. So Black Widow will have a couple of them, but you can have other characters in your deck that you choose from. So you can try and play that more often. Otherwise, without this, if you don't play that red thing, you just ignore that text. It just does 2 damage. She's got another one here. This is a tech one. It's called Mission Accomplished. And you see here, she draws a card. If you play the tech card, she also gets a bystander. So I'll go into those guys later. Here we have Covert Operation. It's another covert one. And you get +1 for each bystander in your victory pile. So she's kind of about rescuing. And then this is the Silent Sniper, which was the same as the original one. So the regular cards, the ones that come with the base set, you have all 3 of the other cards I showed would all have this exact same picture, just with the borders being more filled out based on the rarity. This is the alternate art version. And now you'll see more of that as I get into some other cards here. So we have Wolverine. The base set Legendary encompasses pretty much most of Marvel. It's mainly the X-Men and the Avengers, and then the other sets theme off a little bit more. This is his instinct, this is his keen senses. Lets him draw a card if he's played another one. Some of them have a little flavor text on them. But now you can see, now this one's called Healing Factor. It has a different ability, different attack, but it has the same artwork. So like I said, later on sets, they made different cards, which is nicer especially for new people playing the game, because then you can see the different cards. Otherwise, you open up your hand and it's like you have to stop and make sure you read them each time. So you have Frenzied Slashing, and then we have a Berserker Rage. You can see all 4 of Wolverines are instinct cards, where Black Widow had 2 different types. She had Covert and Tech. And now we're going to get into a Thor card. So he's going to have blue, which is range. Now you can see the more common ones on there, like the lesser power, lesser cost ones, have a full border. And then as you see, this border on the side will start to disappear. Surge of Power. It actually has 2 different things. So we've seen the slashes before. The stars are your recruit points. So these are basically your money. So it says if you've made 8 or more stars this turn, you get +3 attack. So basically you can play this Thor card, you get 2. But if you played other cards and made at least 8 stars, including this one, so you made 6 more, he also gets +3 attack. And now here we got green ones. This is Thor called Odinson. And he's got the strength. And now we have Thor Call Lightning. And you can see this border disappeared on this side to show it's a little bit rarer card. And then we have basically every character of their ultimate one, which usually costs 6, 7, 8, depending on the character. It's the more powerful one. So like his is, you can use stars as slashes this turn. And as you noticed, 2 of his cards gave him stars, which could potentially give him slashes as well, or attacks. I just call them stars and slashes, a little bit quicker. And he automatically gets 5. So as soon as you play this card, you can either play 5 points to buy other characters, add them to your deck, or you could use it as 5 attack points. So it's kind of a pretty nifty, flexible card, especially late game, when maybe you don't need to buy as many cards. You can then use them to attack. So then we have Storm, who's another X-Man. Lightning Bolt. She has kind of a neat ability. Villains you fight on the rooftops. So when you're playing the cards, there's 2 different rows. There's your HQ, which is where all your heroes are. The ones you buy, you put in your deck. and then there's a row of villains. Each villain is located on a different space. They're trying to leave the city and flee. You're trying to stop them. So if one of them moves onto the rooftop, she actually gets to do extra damage to them because they start with less attack power. So she lets you draw cards with Gathering of the Storm Clouds. Her Spinning Cyclone. So this one allows you to move a villain to a new city space and then rescue any bystanders. So this allows her to use the wind to push her villains around. And then she has Tidal Wave. This one allows her, when you fight on the bridge, they get -2 attack. And then if you have played a ranged card already, the Mastermind gets -2. So now we've mentioned villains and Masterminds. Your villains are your just kind of your generic, everyday bad guys that they would fight. Your like Doc Ock, Electros, Sabretooth, Juggernaut. Your Masterminds are the guys that kind of lead and command everybody. Red Skulls, Doctor Dooms, Magnetos. And we'll get to all them later. So we have Spider-Man. And he's got the Spider Friends ability. And so this is Astonishing Strength. Great Responsibility. And lots of the cards have abilities that are like, so you recognize them, you're like, oh, that makes sense. And then he's got Tech, Web Shooters. And you see on here, this one doesn't provide anything. It just lets you rescue a bystander. But then you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it costs 2 or more, or 2 or less, then draw it. All of Spider-Man's cards cost 2. So if you're building your deck and you buy a bunch of Spider-Man, when you play this, chances are you'll get a draw it. But if you're buying a bunch of Spider-Man and Hulk cards, Hulks cost more, so you may not get your drawing ability as often. This is the same thing. The Amazing Spider-Man gets some draws. So then we have Rogue from the X-Men. This is Energy Drain. Borrowed Bronze. So the other one gets kind of different flavors. This is a strength. She can get extra strength. Copy Powers. Play this card as a copy of another hero you played this turn. This counts as both the covert and the other color. So this is kind of a neat one because you can double up any effects that you've already had. And then Steal Abilities. Each player discards the top card of their deck and play a copy of each of those cards. So basically you're kind of, because you're playing with other players, you're playing as a team to defeat the villain. So it kind of hurts your other players because you're making them lose a card off their deck. But the decks do reshuffle over and over and over, so it's not like a permanent or a giant loss. But you also get a copy of everything. And it could be anything from an awesome Spider-Man card to a generic Shield soldier. Then we have Nick Fury. Ooh, my card's dropped down. This is the more modern Black Nick Fury based off the movie. So you have high-tech weaponry. Battlefield Promotion. And this, I think, is the first one I've had so far that has a symbol in it. So he's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. So you may KO a S.H.I.E.L.D. hero from your hand or discard pile. If you do, gain a S.H.I.E.L.D. officer to your hand. I go over them when I come across them, but basically you could discard either him or you have generic cards that you start with that are also S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And you could discard one of them basically to upgrade to a better one. And here he gets another one. If you play, get +1 for each other S.H.I.E.L.D. hero. So basically he gets better and better the more kind of like generic cards you have. So he's a legendary commander. And his final one is Pure Fury. And we have Iron Man, Repulsor Rays, it's a ranged ability. And then of course he's going to have Tech, Endless Inventions, lets you draw a card, potentially draw a second card. Arc Reactor, gets you some extra power. And the Quantum Breakthrough, you draw 2 cards and potentially draw 2 more cards. You can potentially drop to 4 cards, which is nice in this game. As soon as you draw a card, you can play it right away and build some really cool combos. So we have Growing Anger Hulk, obviously strength character. So then we have Unstoppable Hulk, who's going to have one of the features that would make sense for Hulk. You may KO a wound from your hand or discard pile. If you do, gain +2. So wounds are cards, once they get in your deck, they don't do anything. They're basically, you get 5 cards every turn, and then you get a wound in there, you basically have a useless card in your hand. So you essentially only have a hand of 4. So Hulk actually makes benefit of that. He gets angry, gets stronger because you can discard those cards. There is a way to get rid of all the wounds in your hand. But if you only have 1, it's generally not worth it. And being that Hulk plays off of wounds, you got Crazed Rampage. Each player gains a wound. So it's not a high cost, it's a medium cost card with a nice strength, or nice attack cost. But because of that, he does damage to every player. But then he can then fuel off of it. And because it's not, each player just got cards from any of the characters you have in play, each person could have that other Hulk card. It's not, I'm playing Hulk, you're playing Iron Man. We're all playing a character that can utilize any of these characters. So I'm going to get a giant Hulk card. Hulk Smash, of course. Alright, so we have Hawkeye, who's a team player. So he actually has the Avengers abilities. Now this is saying you play any Avenger card first, then he gets +1. It's a cheapy one that lets him draw a card. That was Quick Draw. Covering Fire. And the Impossible Trick Shot. And we have Gambit, Card Shark, so he has stuff that helps with X-Men. Stacking the Deck. Hypnotic Charm. And High Stakes Jackpot. And we have an Emma Frost, the White Queen. She has the ability, you may play the top card of the villain deck. If you do, get +2. So it's kind of a gamble. You can play it, and like you might get someone you can handle, but you also get 2 extra attack, but you might get someone that you can't deal with, and then you've kind of set yourself up. Mental Discipline. Psychic Link. So this says each player may reveal another X-Men hero. Each player does draw a card. So if you're building your 5 characters to use for the game, if you only had Emma Frost and you had 4 other Avenger characters, it would be a lot harder for everyone to be able to get this. So sometimes you might want to build just an X-Men deck. Sometimes you might want to build only an Avengers deck. But what's nice is you can build any type of characters. Some combinations make it easier, some make it harder. Like SpiderMan, all his cost 2, so you'd be like, oh, why don't we have a bunch of them and we can buy them all? Because none of his attacks are high enough. You have to include like a Hulk or a Thor or someone stronger, or you're never going to be able to do enough damage to defeat any of the bad guys. And then she has her diamond form. And then we have Deadpool, who actually does not have a team affiliation. He's the only one in the first set. Spider-Man was the only one that wasn't an X-Man or an Avenger. Then, of course, it's going to be his Deadpool right here. Hold this for a second. Oddball. Hey, can I get a do-over? And Random Acts of Unkindness. And we have Cyclops, Optic Blast. So it's kind of neat. He has some combos you can set up. To play this card, you must discard a card from your hand. So that sounds kind of not very helpful, because you lose 1 card each time. And the same thing here. To play this card, you must discard a card from your hand for Determination. And then, but then he has this one, Unending Energy. If a card effect makes you discard this card, you may return this card to your hand. So basically, if you combine this with either of the other 2, basically you try and build a Cyclops theme for your deck. Every time you have to discard this from that, you put it right back in your hand so you can keep reusing it. And then his X-Men United. You play an X-Men before him, he gets +2 for each other X-Men hero you played this turn, so he can get quite powerful if you're playing an X-Men deck. And finally, we have Captain America. Perfect teamwork. So +1 for each other color. For each color here you have. So if you play a blue, a green, a yellow, a red, and a gray, he could be +5. So he kind of gets, benefit for spreading yourself out. But you could also just play different Captain America cards, because he's green one there. Here's a yellow one. This one gets the stars instead. Avengers Assemble. Here's a gray one. This one helps you block. Diving block. If you would gain a wound, you may reveal this card and draw a card instead. So like, this could work well with that Hulk card if you time it with somebody right. And this one's a red one. So if you played all 4 Captain Americas, you got 4 colors right there. A day like any other. Alright, so that is the first video I'm going to do for Legendary Marvel. That is the heroes. In the second video, part 2 for this, I will go through the villains. And then after this, videos will go a little bit shorter, so I won't, the expansions, I won't go through like what each little ability and card does as much. So see you guys in part 2.